Happy Wednesday, good evening. Glory and honor to the Father Yahweh and to Messiah Yahweh Shah. And greetings to the 12 tribes that are now awakening and are being prepared for the return of Messiah and the establishment of the Messianic kingdom. Today is Wednesday, and so we're going to be doing prophecy based on current events. Prophecy based on current events. In the thumbnail, there's two major things. Well, there are a lot of major things that happen every single day, every single week these days, because there's only less than 8 years left of the Gentile rule in Babylon, in the Babylonian system in which we're in. So every week, every day, prophecy is being fulfilled every day. And this week is no different. Two major stories, big stories. One is the CEO of United Healthcare was murdered in Manhattan this past week. They have arrested a young man who they are strongly thinking did this deed. And that's one story. And we'll go into that, the backdrop of that. The other one is Jamie Foxx, the actor, entertainer, is doing a Netflix program. I have not watched the program. My wife told me she watched it today. Is doing a Netflix program. And apparently during the course of the program, he's going to be explaining the mysterious illness that had him in serious health problems at a health facility that apparently would have cost him his life. So we'll be dealing with both of these in respect to them with Bible prophecy. Hello, brother Amanda Prakash, Superstar, David Harriet, Sister Love Blue, Diamond Holdings, J House. And so, yeah, we'll be dealing with that this evening. Now, before we go into that, I want to also tell y'all that I sent out an email with an invitation to a Zoom call for this Saturday evening, early evening, about 6 o'clock. I sent it out today to all the names that I had of people that were interested in coming to the Memorial Day weekend in 2025 that we're having at the resort in the Dunes Resort in Florida next year. Okay, Brother Thorpe, welcome. Also, still don't understand. Brother Thorpe, if you could give me the nickname you use for YouTube, and then I can find out, at least try to find out what's going on, why you're not showing up. But anyway, for May, the Memorial Day weekend 2025, we are planning on getting together at a resort in, I forgot what it's called, something Dunes, Mystic Dunes Resort in Florida. And I sent an email to go over all of the cost and what's being included in that to the people. Now, if you did not receive an email and you're interested, please email me or let me know that you did not receive an email. The only person that I know of that may not have received the email is Castle King, and I sent him a separate email because he has like 2 or 3 different email addresses, so I wasn't sure. And I thought I sent it to, and Iman Prakash, if you talk to him, I don't know if he's here, but I sent it to Thoughts Over Music. So I sent it to his Thoughts Over Music email. See if he gets it. Yeah. Brother Stephen Kelly. Yeah, you know what I mean, my Prakash. So that's that. Where do I begin? First, let's start in Ephesians. Let's start in Ephesians. And I want to say this before we start, as we're going into Ephesians chapter 6. The things that were being shown in prophecy. I think we should recognize that the majority of the planet will not understand it, and they will not know what's coming. They have an inkling. Most of them have a feeling or a guess, but very few will actually know. Now, the reason for these is twofold. Number one, the majority of planet Earth do not thoroughly read their Bible. Well, the King James Version of the Bible, which is the only legitimate Bible in my view. Most people will not read it, even those that claim to believe it. They'll read parts of it here and there and claim here a little or there a little, though they're even using that out of context. But very few people will actually start in Genesis and read it through the Revelation. Now, many of you have already done that. Many of you have done it more than once already. Many have done it 3 or 4 times already. And I think you can bear witness that when you do that, the Most High shows you things in the scriptures that prior to you doing that, you might have read the Bible before, but you've never seen it the way you see it once you read the whole thing and you receive the whole thing, right? So most people have not done that. Therefore, they will have no idea what is about to happen. They might even know a few verses and still have no idea what's about to happen. Okay, praise the Most High, Diamond Holder. And so that's problem number one. Problem number two is people are listening to man in churches and denominations and religions instead of listening to the Bible and reading the Bible. So for the majority, and not only that, let me add a third thing. Prophecy is not given for everybody to understand, as we know from the scriptures. The scriptures show us prophecy is only given, as far as an understanding of it, to the servants of Yah. They're the only ones. Yah's servants are the only ones. In fact, and we know the scripture, Revelation 1:1, the revelation of Messiah, which Yah gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. He did not say everybody. Okay, so the truth of the scripture is not for everybody. It's only for Yah's servants. That's it. The majority of the earth is not Yah's servants, because he continually talks about a remnant. The word remnant means a small piece of what's left. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yah and have the testimony of Messiah. If the Most High had not left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom. We should have been like unto Gomorrah. Isaiah also said, that's Isaiah. Messiah said, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the return of the Son of Man. And in the days of Noah, they had an earth filled with people, and only 8 people were delivered. So it's a constant theme. I just gave you 3 witnesses, Moses, Isaiah, and John. It's a constant theme, and there's more, that there's only a remnant people that are going to receive the truth and understand what is getting ready to happen. So most people not understand. Now, the flip side of that is they will think that if you tell them what you have read in the scriptures and what the Most High shows you from the scriptures, they're going to think you're crazy, and they will not receive it. The people did not receive Noah's message. The reason Isaiah talked about a remnant is because the people did not receive the message of the Hebrew prophets sent to them by the Most High, warning them about the destruction coming. And again, in the book of Revelation, most people don't even read it, much less understand it. And they're guessing about what they think they know. So because there's very few people that will read the Bible and pray to the Heavenly Father alone for his spirit to understand the scriptures, most of the people are going to reject the truth. Okay, most people are going to reject the truth. And that's why, as we're studying now the book of Revelation on the weekends, the 144,000 become vitally important for the point of the power given them to proclaim what's about to happen for just the remnant that's left in the system that we're now in, a Gentile ruled system, which is going to end within 8 years. In Ephesians chapter 6, Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12. The Apostle Paul, writing to the Ephesians, says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So what exists? Principalities. What exists? Powers, rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places. That means places of power and authority. Spiritual wickedness in places of power and authority. Another term that's used today to describe this is corporation. You see, brother, people protest in front of corporate buildings, right? But generally, they don't see the people that run the corporation. They just see a building with a name on it, whatever the big name is. And it doesn't matter to the people that run the corporation. And the people that are out there protesting are protesting against a principality, a power. And the way the Most High has this thing set up now is ultimately these principalities and powers are going to step over a line. They're going to cross a line. And that crossing of the line is going to cause Revelation chapter 14, and that would be under the third angel, Revelation chapter 14, under the third angel, where the powers of Babylon are mixing government with religion, and they're going to try to enforce religious dogmas against the whole world, in which most of the world will be cooperating, and they already are. They will be pushing the three Abrahamic religions, which they already are. And the three Abrahamic religions, being Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, are accepted, especially the first two, around the world, which they are. The third group is not accepted as much as it's allowed to exist because they control all the money and media. And so because of that, these three, the whole world's accepting them already. And they're going to try to, they being the powers of Babylon, the spiritual wickedness in high places, for the sake of order and really for the sake of Asatan's plan to have the whole world worship him, are going to attempt to take that system and press it on the remnant. And in the worship area, in the area of religious worship, they will have crossed the line because they're fine as long as they don't mess with the Hebrews. Anytime in the Bible, especially we know from Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, but we also know in the book of Esther with Haman, and we've seen it in other couple of places also, whenever they try to place hands on the Hebrews and force them to try to worship another god, namely Asatan, that moves the Father's hand. And that's where we see Revelation chapter 14, beginning at verse 9 and going from verse 9 down to verse 11. This is Revelation chapter 14 from verses 9 to 11. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name." This is a principle. This is coming. This is coming quickly. It's going to be here within the next 7+ years, 8 years on the outside, and we are being prepared to stand against it, just as Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were prepared, just as Esther and Mordecai were ready in Persia and others. We are being prepared to stand firm in the truth of the Bible as we are convicted by the Spirit of the Father. The majority of earth will not. They will go with the corporations. Now, what we saw with the murder of the United Healthcare CEO is the boiling anger that's beneath the surface. The young man that shot him apparently had an Ivy League education, but he was angry and frustrated. Now, the media will make you, and of course, this is another thing that we must understand. Again, the Bible tells us the devil deceiveth the whole world. If the earth is run by spiritual wickedness in high places, you must understand, combining it with the verse that says, Satan deceiveth the whole world, and the whole world wandered after the beast. When you combine these scriptures, you must understand that all media is always lying to you, always lying to you, always lying to you. So you must see what happened in the light of the scriptures. So in the light of the scriptures, the powers of spiritual wickedness in high places will fill their cup. They will get to the point of pressing the mark of the beast, which means they will have total power on the earth. And the only reason they don't have everything they want right now, as we know, is because of the Most High holding back winds in order that his servants might be sealed. That's the only reason. But as we are seeing things, we're seeing the new government officials come into the office of the president, with all of those coming with him. We see the wickedness of them. The Most High is allowing us to see it's almost over. And it just confirms what we know from the scriptures. So when the young man killed the CEO, they push it as, well, it's just people angry against the healthcare system. But when you see the whole picture, and this is the thing that the word shows us, it shows us the whole picture. The Bible says the nations were angry. It also said that the Most High will destroy them that destroy the earth. So it's not just in healthcare, although that is a big one. Healthcare is ruining people's lives. The system, the cost of the system is bankrupting people. It's causing people to become homeless. It's causing people to use most of their whatever meager retirement they have to pay for pills. And that's just the legal side. There are, every day I saw an article that said almost 1,800 pounds of illegal drugs are seized every day by the U.S. government. Every day, 1,800 pounds. Whereas every day, tons come in. So you got tons of drugs coming in. A lot of people, and I can't say all because I can't prove it, but I've heard enough testimony, and maybe you could hear what I'm about to say as true. A lot of people that are hooked on opioids started using opioids as a result of an accident or an operation they had as a prescribed medicine. Am I lying to you? A lot of people that is hooked on opioids started using the drug as a result of an accident they had, or a disease they had, or something they suffered, and this was prescribed to them to help them with the pain that they were dealing with. And then sometimes that whatever that situation was went away, and they were now hooked on the prescribed medication, and it got worse from there. So that, and they may delete this video as a result of that, but what I just told you is absolutely testimonial that you could get. It's out there. Okay. So you have a large problem with fentanyl in the United States. They got tons of it coming, and that drug is so powerful that it can obviously kill people. That they have had police officers that have seized it in somebody's trunk, open the trunk and fall out from just the scent of the fentanyl, the amount that's in there. So that is one area where you're destroying a whole area of society. Okay. My daughter is working with special needs children, most autistic children. There are so many of these children that they're looking for people that are qualified educationally to take care of these people, more than just regular teachers. And why is that? Well, I can't speculate without getting in trouble. I may already be in trouble, but I will say there are more people with autism today than there was when I was a child. There are more young kids suffering from trauma, emotional trauma, that have to take medications, and they're autistic children more. So you combine the drug problem in general society. You combine the educational system that's being basically bashed. It started way back in the 80s under Ronald Reagan when they were trying to blame teachers for substandard education. And it's gotten worse. The whole No Child Left Behind thing is a farce. And so that you combine that, what you're getting is a class of people that are being prepared and are prepared to basically be slaves to the system and serve the very wealthy. Okay, and I could keep going. There's a whole bunch of, right now, the average CEO makes something like 200 times the average worker in their corporation that they manage. Whereas 40 years ago, the average CEO made like 20 times or maybe 40 times what the average worker made. They make over 200 times more now. So they have now what they call a wealth gap, an income disparity. What does that cause? It causes people to lose their houses, lose their jobs, or to have to work 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet just to break even. The rents are going up because corporations are owning the buildings and owning houses now. So the price of the housing is going up. So you have a very large underclass being developed to be slaves for the uber wealthy. And with that, you get desperation, which is why you see people brazenly trying to rob gas stations, trying to hijack cars, robbing banks. People are desperate. Between you add all of these things together, people are desperate. And out of that anger and desperation, you saw what happened when this young man murdered the CEO of United Healthcare. And you'll see a lot more of the crime, but notice what happened with the young man. In a matter of days, they caught him. In a matter of days, he had a hoodie on. He waited early in the morning. He had a silencer on the gun. He had his face covered. And in a matter of days, they caught him. They're going to make an example out of him. So they're saying no matter how much you're suffering, you're going to stay in line. That's right. People cheering him. But ain't nobody going to step out of line. They're going to make an example out of that young man. Okay? They're going to make an example out of him. Now let's go to the other side. Jamie Foxx. He's an entertainer. And he's an actor. Now, what does an actor do? An actor plays a role. In other words, an actor plays a position where they are pretending to be somebody else. And the best actors will convince you that they really are that person. Right? So the best actors, when they really do their job well, they will convince you that that's really who they are. They can make you hate them. They can make you love them. They can make you feel sorry for them. They can make you cheer for them because they're actors. That's what they're paid to do. Now, we do understand that that whole system is run by Satan, right? It's a system based on people deceiving you into thinking there's somebody else. Right? Do you understand that, right? It's a system based on people pretending to be who they're not. And you and I don't know who the real person is. And don't let me get started on what they actually have to go through. I mean, we're hearing about P. Diddy, right? What they actually have to go through to get on that screen in the first place. And for example, my wife and I were having a discussion about Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, it came out, had an island. There was no official source of where his wealth came from. He owned an island, and apparently it could already come out in the news that he had underage children, teenagers coming to the island, and they had pictures of him with people like Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and others. They put this man in the most secure part of the prison in New York City, and I'm still dead. See, they killed themselves. What really is going on, brethren? And this is what happened with him, with Bill Cosby, with P. Diddy. This is what happened. They messed with the wrong people. They didn't keep in line. Sometimes, like Diddy, from what people are saying in the industry, he started getting too big for his britches. One thing, brethren, you must understand. In the entertainment industry, none of the players that you're seeing, whatever area of entertainment it is, whether it's music, acting, sports, there's always people above them that pull the strings. I don't care what their contract is. I don't care if they sign 760 million. There's somebody above them pulling the strings. And you'll never see that person or people. The spiritual wickedness in high places, you'll never see. Okay? So, if you step out of line, they can take care of you. They can take care of you. Or in the case of Jamie Foxx, they warn you. They warn you. We're going to give you a chance. Don't get out of line. Because if you get too big for you, especially if you're of the Hebrew bloodline. See, you look at these, and this is what I'm saying, you cannot pay attention to entertainers in terms of taking them seriously about anything of serious nature. You cannot. The only way you can ever take one of them seriously is if they leave that whole life. And it's very difficult to do. Satan makes it very difficult to do. If you're used to flying in private jets, servants, people wanting to see you just to see you and talk to you, if you've been living that life for a while, it's very difficult to give that up. It's very difficult. On top of what Satan told the Father Yah, skin for skin, all that a man hath he will give for his life. They can be taken out at any time. Jamie Foxx just learned that. And so my wife was telling me this morning, she said, I looked at the thing and it was so touching, and then I had to break reality down. And I said to her, because when I saw the thing, I saw it advertised on Netflix, and I said, automatically, I said, oh, this is just a front. I heard he cried. But you also understand he's an actor, right? You know he's an actor, right? You know he's an actor. So how do you know when he's acting and when he's not? Wait a minute. You don't think he's on Netflix for free, right? You understand somebody's paying him. So they're making this whole thing into a show for him to get money and for them to believe that you will think he's really being real. He's acting. How do you know he's acting? First of all, he's being paid. He ain't giving up the fame. He ain't giving up the money. He ain't giving up nothing. He done took too much. He done took too many things to give up all that. Y'all remember how he got famous, right? Do you know he got famous dressing as a woman? You know he got famous dressing as a woman. That's how he got famous. Dressing as a woman. Tyler Perry got famous dressing as a woman. Do you notice they don't ever make, or they did, because they did Dustin Hoffman, because they don't make Ashkenazis do that, but Dustin Hoffman did it, didn't? Well, and Don Hines, you ask an excellent question. Was it worth it, though? The Messiah asked a question. The Messiah asked a question. He said, how much can a man give in exchange for his soul? How much can a man give in exchange for his soul? Well, brethren, apparently riches and fame causes it to be for sale. And a lot of people take that deal. Okay? But what is the purpose of him doing this? What is the purpose of him doing? That's right, Lauryn Hill had to give it up. Michael Jackson wouldn't. You see what happened to him. What is the purpose? It's for us to feel sorry for him and to have a connection with him, emotional connection, so that whenever role he plays, we can always trust Jamie Foxx. And we'll be distracted, because that's what entertainment is for. Distraction. It's all dirty. For example, even in sports, y'all know what's dominating sports right now? They have made gambling legal. Right? They've made gambling legal. They got all kinds of celebrities pushing gambling on all the TV stations at between every, if it's not a drug commercial, which would be in the senior citizens channel, like someone watch an old movie, it's a gambling commercial. And you can't tell me, you really think that with billions and billions of dollars at stake, the people that referee a football game or a basketball game will never be tempted with all of that money that's out there to make a call, just one call that goes the other way? With all of that money out there? I think even some of y'all have actually seen it, because you've seen in some games, you've seen it. You'd be like, what? A lot of money at stake. A lot of money at stake. I don't think we can deny. And we don't even know how much is at stake. But it's billions. I tell you that it's billions. It's billions and billions and billions. But that's at stake. See? So what you saw this week was the real deal. That dude that came and shot that CEO, I think we can agree, he was not acting. He was not playing a role, because that man that he shot is dead. And you can tell by the backlash how corporate world feels about it, because they went and got that dude. They found him. Okay, quick. It didn't even take a week Couple days, they got him. And like I said, they're going to make an example out of him just in case anybody else think about reacting like that to their anger, to their frustration, to their rage against the system of corporations that run everything. And the backdrop of all of this is the Father preparing us wherever we are. Again, it doesn't take a whole lot of equipment. It just takes you praying in the Father's word. That's it. You don't need to go to nobody's class. You don't need to go travel nowhere. You don't need to go to nobody's seminary or nobody's denomination or nobody's camp. It's you and your Heavenly Father with his word. Very simple. And he's preparing you for what's very much just ahead. See, the power of grace is what's going to get us through, brethren. Noah, remember, Noah found grace in the eyes of Yahweh. The power of grace is what gets us through. What do I mean by that? The power of the Father's Spirit, which is life. The Father's Spirit is life. Come on us as we need it to cause us to do whatever he needs us to do, to say whatever he needs. That's why the Messiah said, don't think about what you're going to say when they arrest you. The Father will give you words that they won't be able to answer. And Stephen is the example of that. If you look at Stephen, notice again in Acts chapter 7. Acts chapter 7. Beginning in Acts chapter 6, actually. Acts chapter 6 is what I want. So they had chosen 7 deacons that were going to work as people that work directly with the people in terms of providing them food and necessities that they would need, that they were getting distributed to them. The apostles gave it to the deacons, and the deacons would actually do the work of actually bringing the food and provisions to people that were poor. So here, one of those deacons was Stephen. And let's look at verse 8 of Acts chapter 6 from verse 8 down to verse 15. They arrested him, okay? The religious authorities arrested him. Okay, watch. Acts chapter 6, verses 8 to 15. And Stephen, full of faith and power, did great wonders and miracles among the people. Then there arose certain of the synagogue, which is called the synagogue of the Libertines and the Cyrenians and the Alexandrians. What? Libertine, Cyrene, Alexander. Do you realize where they're from? I want to ask you just as a side note. Do you realize where all these people are from? The Libertines, the Cyrenians, and the Alexandrians. Where is that? Nope, not wrong. Let me say it again. Cyrene, Libertines, Alexandria. Yep, Alexandria is Egypt. Libertines is Libya. Libertines, Libya. Huh? Cyrene is North Africa. Remember the Simon the Cyrenian who they asked to carry the cross for the Messiah? This is Africa. Look it up for yourself. This is the Libertines, the Cyrenians, and the Alexandrians. These are all African. Well, today, they didn't call it African then. In the Bible, they did not call it. The word Africa does not exist in the Bible. So we would be calling it Mizraim and Cush. We would call it the land of Ham. That's what we would call it. That's what the Bible would call it. The land of Ham is where it is. Simon of Cyrene was from Cyrene, which is North Africa, when he came to worship at the Passover, and they made him carry Messiah's cross. Libertines are like what we call today, like Libya, North Africa. Okay. Then they weren't infiltrated as much with the Europeans. The Greeks had already changed the name from Kemet to Alexandria, Egypt, but it was still the land of Ham. Okay. So these are the ones that were leaders in the synagogue. Okay. Let's keep reading. And them of Cilicia and of Asia. Now that's Europe, Cilicia and Asia. Okay. That's Europe. Disputing with Stephen. And they were not able, watch verse 10, they were not able to resist the wisdom and the spirit by which he spake. They were not able. Why? Because it was the Father's Spirit guiding his words. Okay. And they suborned men, which said, we have heard him speak blasphemous words against Moses and against the Most High. And they stirred up the people and the elders and the scribes and came upon him and caught him and brought him to the council and set up false witnesses, which said, this man ceases not to speak blasphemous words against this holy place and the law. For we have heard him say that this Yahushua of Nazareth shall destroy this place and shall change the customs which Moses delivered us. And all that sat in the council, looking steadfastly on him, saw his face as it had been the face of an angel. That's the Spirit of the Father on him. Now, this represented the end of the 490-year or 70-week prophecy of Daniel 9. And that's why he was about to be martyred. It was the end of the 490-year prophecy, which is end of chapter 7. You see that when he sees Messiah stand up. That's the end of the 70-week prophecy of Daniel chapter 9. Okay. But the point we're making here is it wasn't him that was speaking. It was the Father speaking through him. And he wasn't scared because of the grace that was upon him. We're being prepared for an even bigger situation. Whereas Stephen was the sign of the end of the 70 weeks, we're the sign of the end of the age. We're the sign of the end of the whole 6,000 years of this age. We're the sign of the beginning of the Messianic kingdom and the end of Gentile rule. We're in a bigger game right now. So when you see the anger on one side and you see the deception on the other side, the deception is strong. Deception is strong. There's millions of people that will love Jamie Foxx and be closer to him think that he's real. And he's just a tool. All entertainers are tools. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't pray for them or care about them at all. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying we should be aware that it's all fake. Just like when you're looking at the news, do you think they're telling you the truth? Do you think the news, do you think the CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, do you think they're telling you the truth? Do you think that's what they're there for? To tell you the truth, Fox News? You should understand. I don't care if it's liberal or conservative or anything in between. They're all lying to you. They're all attempting to manipulate your emotions. That is why our emotions should be tied to one, the Father Yah and his word. Our emotions, our trust should be in his word alone. And we got to cling to that. I'm glad to hear Brother Harriet say, what'd you say, Brother Harriet? It's his 6th reading of the scriptures? Yes. Keep reading the scriptures and you'll learn to trust the Father. Trust him. And he's got all of us dealing with issues and situations in this life that are driving some people to commit bad things, causing us to draw closer to the Father. It's going to get more. That's right. They're gaslighting us. That's right. It's going to get more and more pronounced. The intensity is going to go up. And you're seeing it as signs in nature. The hurricanes, the tornadoes, the earthquakes, the typhoons, the diseases, the fires. You're seeing it. The droughts, the floods. It's going up. The intensity is getting, it's not going to diminish. It's just going to get more. You remember now, he must allow Babylon to fill its cup. So don't be surprised when you see these things, because Asatan must think he must lock it all down except for the remnant. He must have, just like he did again in Babylon with Nebuchadnezzar. He had it all locked down except for them three. Okay, he had it all locked down. In the days before the flood, he had it all locked down except Noah and his family. And he must allow Asatan to lock it down now. He's going to have it all locked down except for the remnant. And when that enemy moves against us, Father will move for us. But we won't know that unless we understand Jamie Foxx and everybody like him is lying to you. Okay? If the Father said there's going to be a remnant, there's going to be a remnant. And there's nothing the enemy can do about it. Nothing. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Stay strong in the faith, brethren. Stay strong in the grace that's in Messiah, in the faith of Messiah. Stay strong in the word. Stay strong in the spirit. Don't worry about the flesh. It's only temporary. Shalom.